Hassaniya is the variety of Arabic originally spoken by the Beni Hassan Bedouin tribes, who extended their authority over most of Mauritania and the Western Sahara between the 15th and 17th centuries. It has almost completely replaced the Berber languages spoken in this region. Although clearly a Western dialect, Hassaniya is relatively distant from other North African variants of Arabic. Its geographical location exposes it to influence from Zenaga and Wolof. There are several dialects of Hassaniya which differ primarily phonetically. Today, Hassaniya is spoken in Algeria, Morocco, Mauritania, Mali, Niger, Senegal and the Western Sahara. Pronunciation. The phonological system of Hassaniya is both very innovative and very conservative. All phonemes of classical Arabic are represented in the dialect, but there are also many new phonemes. As in other Bedouin dialects, classical q corresponds mostly to dialectal d and th have merged into th, and the interdentals theta and th have been preserved. In common with most Western Arabic varieties, the equivalent of modern Standard Arabic d is realized as. However, there is sometimes a double correspondence of a classical sound in its dialectal counterpart. Thus classical q is represented by in, bath, to take, but by q, in, mqas's, scissors. Similarly, d becomes th, in, thehk, laugh, but d, in, misread, to be sick. Some consonant roots even have a double appearance. Theta aqil, heavy, versus theta il, heavy. Some of the classicizing forms are easily explained as recent loans from the literary language or from sedentary dialects in case of concepts pertaining to the sedentary way of life. For others, there is no obvious explanation. Etymological, th appears constantly as th, never as d. Nevertheless, the phonemic status of q and d, as well as and th, appears very stable, unlike in many other Arabic varieties. Somewhat similarly, classical has in most contexts disappeared or turned into with or j. In some literary terms, however, it is clearly preserved. Met.al.lam/suffering. Hassaniya has innovated many consonants by the spread of the distinction emphatic, non-emphatic. In addition to the above-mentioned, r and l have a clear phonemic status and bfmn, more marginally so. One additional emphatic phoneme, z, is acquired from the neighboring Zenaga Berber language along with a whole palatal series, cjn, from Niger-Congo languages of the south. At least some speakers make the distinction p-b through borrowings from French. All in all, the number of consonant phonemes in Hassaniya is 33, or 39 if you count the marginal cases. 2. On the phonetic level, the classical consonants f and theta are usually realized as voiced v and theta. The latter is still, however, pronounced differently from th, the distinction probably being in the amount of air blown out. In geminated and word final positions both phonemes are voiceless, for some speakers, theta, apparently in all positions. The uvular fricative is likewise realized voiceless in a geminated position, although not fricative but plosive. Q. In other positions, etymological, seems to be in free variation with q. Vowel phonemes come in two series, long and short. The long vowels are the same as in classical Arabic, ariu, and the short ones extend this by one. Aiue. The classical diphthongs, aj, and or, may be realized in many different ways, the most usual variants being e and o, respectively. Still, realizations like aj and or, as well as e and o, are possible, although less common. As in most Western Arabic dialects, etymological short vowels are generally dropped in open syllables. */tac.2.by greater than /ta.kate by, you write, *car.ta.ba/ greater than */car.tab greater than ktb, he wrote. In the remaining closed syllables, dialectal generally corresponds to classical while classical I and U have merged into e. Remarkably, however, morphological j is represented by I.